Alright, hi everybody, I am Kelly from Feather Connections. I am going to attempt to do a butcher video. A lot of people don't have these on their channel if they are larger YouTube channels because they often get demonetized, but I am a small YouTube channel and I get asked this a lot. So at the very least I will have this information private and send it to the people that ask, because I do get asked quite a bit how to process a quail. It is a very easy process to do. It's easy to raise them. It is quick to get your meat and to get your eggs. It's a great for a backyard setting, which, as you can tell, that is what I am in the city. So I am going to try to show you this. I usually don't do these because I just process really quick, get it done, and move on. But I get asked about this a lot, and currently this year we are probably not just gonna have the time to do our butchering classes in person like we normally do. So I'm gonna make this video and kind of explain. So the first way you can end the life of the quail, there are a couple different ways I like to do it. You can wring the neck. It requires a lot more finesse, and if you're not familiar with wringing the neck, I don't normally teach people how to do that. It's something I do on my own because I can quickly break the neck, but it is a bloodless call, so if I'm doing it for falconers and things like that, I'm gonna have to move this because birds keep shaking it. It was on the bird carrier. So a lot of people do this. Let me find a different carrier. All right, so I put it on the camera on a different angle because it was on the bird cage that I have the birds that are ready to be processed, and they kept shaking it, so I don't want anybody to get motion sick trying to watch this video. So this is a male Coturnix quail. When I have extras, I usually process them out. I either sell them for dog training, I sell dog treats, so I do dog treats, or falconers for whole prey feeders. So depending on the customer that you have, sometimes you have to do what is called a bloodless call, where you break the neck but the body is still intact and there's not blood on it. So a lot of times I will wring the neck for that, or I will just stretch out and pop the neck, but I'm not as good with that, so usually I wring the neck. Usually when I do it for myself, I don't teach people how to wring the neck because it can be a little bit traumatizing if you're not familiar with calling animals. So and it takes a little bit of finesse to finally get the hang of it. So if you're country and you know how to wring a neck, freaking go for it. It's pretty fast, but beware, an animal this small, it doesn't take as much to wring a neck, as much force as it would as something larger like a duck or chicken. So the first way I'm going to show you, you're just going to use poultry shears. You can get them off Amazon really easy, and I recommend, this is a different kind. I like these, they're really sharp, but the ones that I really like actually come in two pieces and they pull apart really easy for cleaning and for sharpening. This is just a one-piece one, but they're really good, and you can always just buy more. They're not super expensive, they're like maybe 20 bucks. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna place the scissors right below, you can feel the base of the neck. You're just gonna put the scissors right about there, and you're just gonna snip. That's the easiest way to teach most beginners. You're just gonna put the head down, snip, that's it. It will twitch for a minute. That's totally normal when you break the neck, whether you cut the head off completely or you just break the neck. It's normal for the animal to twitch. I have noticed with scissors, they will twitch longer. It has something to do, I think, with the metal touching the spine. It will twitch a little bit longer, like maybe up to like 3 to 5 minutes versus maybe like 60 seconds if you just pull the head off or wring the neck. But that's one way to do it. A lot of our beginners are much more comfortable with just using scissors, just snipping the head and leaving it. So I will show you that first. I probably won't show that part on camera because it's a little bit hard to get a good angle on it, but you're just going, like I said, put the scissors right below the base of the neck. You're just going to do one quick snip. That's it, done. Hold it over so it can bleed out. I tend to tell people to hold it away from you because sometimes it squirts a little bit, and I mean, if it's your first time getting blood like on you, on your face, it's just, you know, not a super fun experience. So keep it away from you, head down in your bowl or your bucket, I have a bowl, and then you're just gonna let it bleed out. So we're just gonna do this. This is not the normal way I do it. 1, 2, 3. These scissors are not as sharp as I like, but the nice thing about this is that the scissors are always sharp enough that it is a very quick, it's very quick. So even if you don't get the head off the first time, especially if you're pulling the head off, you definitely put enough force that it broke the neck. The animal's not in pain, you're not traumatized. The twitching is totally just a normal part of the death process. So don't freak out, you did it right, you didn't hurt the animal, you're good, you can do this. It was something that I learned during the pandemic because we wanted to be more self-sufficient in learning where our food and stuff came from. So I kind of was like, what do I need to know so that I can process an animal for meat if I absolutely need to? And now it's just something I enjoy doing. I like feeling like I know where my meat comes from. I gave them a good life, and then I use every part of them I can for meat. So it's not for everybody, but it is a good skill to have in case you ever do need it. So I will show you now. The head is removed. It's done dripping out. So what you're gonna do next is you're gonna remove the wings and the feet. I usually use a different pair. A lot of times I'll go through, remove all the heads, or like wring all the necks first. The next step, I'll have clean scissors and I will go through and cut all the wings off, because I usually preserve the wings for like oddities, customers, or dog training, or jewelry, or something like that. So I usually use a different pair of scissors. These have a little bit of blood on them now, so it's okay because we're not going to use these wings for anything. But so let me move the camera so you can see how I'm going to do this. So here's the bird. What you're going to do is you want to keep the scissors parallel. You're going to go down to the very edge of the wing where it meets the body, and you're going to keep the scissors parallel and just make a snip. If you angle the scissors this way or this way, sometimes you cut into the meat, but like I said before, it's a really forgiving meat, so if you take a chunk out of it your first couple times, it is not a big deal. Just don't even worry about it. You're going to get the feel for it after a little bit, so you're just going to get it right in there, make a little snip. These scissors are needing to be sharpened. Oh boy, these scissors are going to give me a hard day. Okay. So, remove the wing, set it to the side, flip it over, same thing with the other wings, flat down right to the body, parallel, put it down, cut through the joint. Okay, we may need to get my scissors for the rest of this video, but then the feet. I snip it at the knee. If you snip right in the middle of the knee, you actually end up, depending on how you cut the feet, sometimes you end up with pokey parts that stab through your bag when you freeze them. So it's really nice to have a smooth edge. So I take the foot, bend it at the knee like this, hold it towards me, and then I snip right through the middle of the joint like that. Just right through. Take the other foot, bend it right through. And I forgot, I'm gonna go get my gloves. I like to wear gloves because I just don't like the smell on my hands, and I feel like I have a harder time getting the blood out. So I personally like to wear gloves. I will do it gloveless if I need to. It's not a big deal. But I'm going to go get my gloves and then show you the rest. All right, now that I got my gloves on, what you're going to do is find the little breastbone right below the head on the underside where the belly is. Now you can tear the skin and just tear it open, or sometimes this is an older breeder. You're just gonna take the skin and just make a little tiny snip in the skin, not the meat, but like I said, it's a really forgiving meat, so it's not a big deal. And then you're just gonna pull it open, expose the meat, and then you're gonna pull all this skin off just like a coat. You can pluck them. I choose not to pluck them because I don't think it matters that much, and I have a lot to do in a small amount of time, so I'm not going to spend my time plucking something this size. Personally, I would probably honestly do skin a chicken too if I had to do a chicken. So you're just gonna pull it off the legs, pull it all the way till the skin is on the back. And then where the neck is, you're just gonna separate that skin and just work your way down the back. Just pull close to the body and remove just like a coat. Now there will be a little bit of right here on their back where it's a little bit harder to remove, and that's not a super big deal because we're gonna do what is called spatchcocking, where you're gonna remove the spine, so that's gonna be on the spine mostly anyways. But a lot of times that's where they climb on each other's back to mate and stuff. Even when the males do that to display dominance and stuff, it's just harder. The skin is thicker there, it's harder to remove all that. So don't worry about that if you have some extra, because we're gonna clean it up later. So you can do it one of two ways. My husband does it from the back end, where he cuts the perineal glands and cuts up this way. I like to do it from the top end because I can see the spine, and yeah, so it's a little bit easier to know exactly where to cut. So you're gonna take your scissors, you're gonna put them just right along one side of the spine, make a snip, and you're just gonna cut down the back. Sometimes it is a little messier this way, and you do cut into organs, so that's why my husband likes to do it the other way. But that's how you do it from the front end. That's personally my preference. And then you're just gonna go down the other side. Just cut right down the middle. It is okay if you do not get it perfectly down the middle, and it is gonna be harder to cut right here through the hip joint. That's totally fine. They're not feeling it, so everybody's a little timid the first time. You're just gonna cut it through. And then you have it kind of there. And then I grab from up here and just pull the spine all the way down. And then you can just pull it. Usually you can just pull it right off the end of the bird like this. So, like I said, we're gonna clean that up later. So these are the testicles on this bird. So if you see those in there, they're testicles. Do you have chickens? They absolutely love to eat a lot of this, especially these are my chickens' favorite parts. I know, odd, but that's their favorite part, and they will fight over it. So usually I give the extras to the chickens, and I do save the spines a lot of times for dog treats. So you can just set that aside. Now what you have is the spine removed, the meat, and then the inside. So I hold it up where the head would be. You're gonna put your thumb in, you're gonna kind of wiggle like this, and then just scoop down, and all the organs usually come in one go. So you're gonna insert your thumb right into the back, right against that breastbone. You're gonna kind of wiggle around a little bit, and you're just gonna scoop down. One clean scoop, clean-ish. Most of the organs are right there, not all of them. Sometimes there's gonna be a little bit left, and that's okay. So what I do, my son personally likes the hearts, so I always find the heart, pull the heart off, and I set that in the bowl with the meat because he loves those and they're very good. Organ meats are very, very good for you. If you want to remove the liver, this is the liver. You can do that. You need to find the gallbladder. This is the one thing that will kind of make a difference. You're gonna wanna try to find the gallbladder. It's a little green thingy. Looks like, I actually don't see it. But if you see the gallbladder, I think it's that part right there. Sometimes it's hard to see. This one it's really hard to see in. But if you find the gallbladder, you're gonna wanna pinch that little booger and pull it right off, because it will actually, if you break it while you're doing the meat, it does affect the flavor of the meat. So not super great. We don't eat the livers. We don't really save the livers. We can for dog treats if we want. And then just FYI for the organs, this is the gizzard. It's like their little stomach. And then there's intestines and stuff. I did not fast them, so that's why I was really careful to cut. You don't really, if you can fast the birds for 24 hours from feed, it helps. So it's a little cleaner when you process them, but anyway. So then I just throw the extras in the bucket. They go to the chickens later. If you have pigs, they will also eat them. So then you're gonna go back in. I have the little like trachea still in here, so you're just gonna pull that out. These right here, they look like the little squish brains. On the side are the lungs. So you can just kind of use your fingernail and just pull them off. just like that. No one usually eats those, so I just throw them in there. And then what you're gonna have left is usually right around the vent. And so I usually take the scissors and kind of cut around that extra meat right there where their vent was. That's their behind. Nobody wants to eat that. So I just pull off the extra bits right there. And then there you go. So then you're gonna stick it in the bowl of water. You're gonna rinse it, scrub it real good just with your hands and water, and then put it in some ice water to rest. And usually they recommend resting it at least 24 hours before you freeze it or eat it. But that is how you spatchcock process. Whoops, a Coturnix quail. These aren't super big, but like I said, sometimes they're old breeders, and sometimes I actually process them a lot earlier because I am in the city and I cannot have a ton of extra males crowing. So if there's any meat on it at all, it's okay, because we're just gonna, like a chicken wing. So sometimes I process them a lot earlier, it's not a big deal. Or I use them if I process them a lot smaller, like 4 or 5 weeks. I will use them for dog treats, but that is how you process them if you're going to cut the head off. So let me show you. Smaller one, if you're going to remove the head. I'm going to show you how to do that. So same, you're going to grab it like a circle, put it around the neck. The neck actually has a lot of give. It will stretch really, really far and totally, you know, like that's pretty far stretching. The bird's totally fine. See? So you're going to wrap it around here, and I usually put one leg back, one leg forward, and you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and you're gonna pull straight down. Usually you drop your weight into it. That's how we teach kids how to do it. You're gonna drop your weight and you're just gonna pull straight down. And if you do not remove the head, that is okay, because you're gonna pull as hard as you can. If you don't remove the head, I promise you still broke the neck. Like I said, the twitching is totally normal. So you're just gonna pull ahead, and that's it. So, and also you have your scissors nearby, so if it doesn't work how you want it to, use the scissors. It's totally fine. So there is always going to be a learning curve with all these things, and like I said, you can totally do this. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, rip the head off. See, and sometimes it's a little bit, see, head's here, a little bit of blood. You're just going to hold it down away from you and let it finish dripping. I do this with the heads because I keep the heads, because I clean the heads, and sell the skulls for oddities people that use them for jewelry and stuff, or I make jewelry out of them, or you can actually freeze dry them for dog treats, things like that. But if you're selling them for whole prey feeders, you leave the head on, because there's a lot of nutrients in the head that things like falcons and birds of prey actually need the nutrients in the brain. So I do not remove the heads for those purposes, but I'm not going to eat the head, so I remove the head. So that's one way to do it. And see, it's already stopped twitching. I'm already good to go. If I'd done it with the scissors, it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes, kind of depends on the animal. So same thing, you're going to remove the wings and the feet, and find sharper scissors than I did. They worked a little better that time. Bend the foot, snip. Bend the foot, snip through the joint. These ones are really easy to just rip the skin, expose the breast. With the foot, I did not explain this in the last part, you're gonna kind of remove it like a sock. You're gonna push the foot in, up like this, pull, grab behind the knee, pull the leg out, and just kind of remove it like a sock. And it's okay if you get little tuffs. It's not a big deal. You can clean that part up later. Right now, you're going for trying to get them done and be done with it. And then you can clean it up later in the sink. So you got the skin all the way on the back now. You're gonna grab around the neck, disconnect, and pull the skin down. And see, like I said, a little bit on the back. You can pull those little tuffs off. I'm gonna show you to go from the back end like my husband does. So you're gonna grab the little booty feathers and you're just gonna snip through that. So then the booty's exposed. You're gonna find, sometimes you can find it, sometimes you can't. It's called the preening gland, I believe. At any rate, there's a little gland they get oil from and they clean themselves. So there's a gland back there. I'm gonna try to find it. You're gonna make a little snip, but if you cut the vent off, it's kind of already well exposed. You just want to be able to find the spine, which is right there. So you're just going to put the scissors in, and you can kind of see where the organs are, so you just kind of try to avoid those, and then you just cut straight up all the way up to the spine. And it's okay if you cut into the spine like I just did. It's not a big deal. Go on the other side, cut all the way up, pull the spine out. Does not matter if you did what I just did, because it's not going to flip the flavor of the meat. It's just the spine. See? And then it is exposed. You're going to put your thumb in up here. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Pull it down. Most of the organs are here. Throw it in the bucket. I did somehow. The heart was still there. So I have the heart. Put it over there for my son. And then actually the lungs did come out on one side and not the other. So you're just going to kind of move the lungs. And then you can see right here, there's a little bit of the skin and the tough part to get out. So you can just go back and kind of pull that off. And then there you go. There's no vent pieces or anything. Now you just got to rinse it off in the bucket. And that's bird number 2. And that was a really slowed down process, but I just processed 2 birds in like less than 15 minutes, and that's a slowed down explanation on how to do it. I'm not going to show you how to wring the neck on video, because if you know how to do it, you know how to do it, and if you don't worry about it. You can have someone show you that has more experience than I do. Yeah, so just put the extra bits and pieces in the trash. We also, I forgot to mention, we do save the feet, dog treats or jewelry. There's any parts you can save and make use of, even if it's like composting and stuff or feeding it to livestock. We always try to do that. We don't have a ton of livestock. We're in the city. We don't have pigs, or they would eat literally all of it. But we try to reuse it for jewelry or sell it for people that are gonna make jewelry. We just try to use as much of it as we can. So that's kind of how you do it. Super, super easy. If you have any questions, shoot me a message, comment below, just let me know. That's kind of the way we do it. It's pretty easy. I'm sure there's more in-depth videos, but my customers ask me a lot, so that is the really fast way to how to do it. And sometimes it's hard to find butchering classes in person, so hopefully that helped you guys. Let me know if there's anything you need me to make a second part and explain something a little bit better, from like a different camera angle. I'm more than willing to do that, so hopefully that helps you guys. And yeah, like and subscribe, and let me know what other stuff I can help you so you can be more city limit self-sufficient. Okay guys, bye.